everyone, welcome back to Lise Loves Paper. I'm back today with a Halloween 12 by 12 layout. So I know I said I was going to do a process video a day leading up to Halloween with my little fall/Halloween mini album, but I don't think I was very into it, and I don't think you guys were very into it based on the numbers and stuff that YouTube was telling me, so rather than just stress myself out, I just paused. But I was excited to do this layout. My son carved pumpkins this weekend, and I had some great photos, and a title popped in my head, and I knew I just needed to do a layout. So I figured I would go ahead and do that layout real quick today and get it up on Halloween for you to enjoy. So that's this process video. As you can see, here I am showing you, by the way, with these papers. I wanted to make sure and get a strip that had all of the colors because one of them didn't have any purple or blue, and one of them didn't have any green or something. Anyway, back to these photos. We had three fun photos of him sticking his hand in the pumpkin, and one of them that I wanted to pop up and stand out. This is very similar to another layout I have done in that sense, with the one photo popped up and on an angle to make it stand out. It's the one I think that's like Love These Dudes or something with my husband and my son. So that's the one that I matted with that spiderweb paper, and I'm putting a hunk of adhesive foam behind it so it stands out. And my plan is to keep the other two straight and that one like at an angle like you see there. So with the rest of these little strips that I cut from the 6x6 pad, what I'm going to do is make banners out of them. And I'm not going to make you watch all of these, especially because my camera focus kept going in and out, so I have cut that. But I left a little in so you can see my process. I cut in the center and then cut in from the corners, and that tends to give me the most regular looking banners. So that is what I'm doing here, and I'm kind of just randomly putting them behind. I say randomly, I am thinking a little bit about it. I want it to fill the whole space behind the photos to make a photo mat. And so my goal here is to kind of make sure that there is a nice even layout. Like, I don't want all the black together. I don't want all the orange together. I want some of that like off-white text paper in multiple places. And so there were a couple of big main ones that I knew I wanted to get down, mostly the spiderweb papers and those pumpkin papers. And then after that, I was going to kind of fuss around with it with the photos on top of it. So you can see that here I am. I'm like, no, I don't want that white-ish paper on top of the other whitish paper. So I moved it over to the left. So I'm aiming for a nice balance of things to the left and to the right and to the top and to the bottom. And that's what I'm going for here. I'm trying to aim also not to have too many skinny things together, and I'm making sure that the ends don't line up perfectly along like the right edge and stuff, because that makes it look too manufactured or something. I don't know. It is unpleasing to the eye, and so I don't do it. And as you saw, I do cut some of them so they look like they span or to give me more pieces. I'm not trying to make it look like every single one goes fully across. That was not my goal here. And I'm glad that I brought in this like tealy skull paper, because it really just makes this layout pop. Otherwise it would be too black and white and orange. So I decided I needed a little more of that paper because I have some at the top, I have some on the right side, and the bottom was feeling kind of heavy. So I'm bringing this in here. And I had originally not planned on using it. That's why it was not cut in the banner shape, and you see me cutting it here. And then placing it under these photos, and I like the way that looks. Now I need to bring some of that teal around, and that's my goal here, is to make sure that it's not just on the left side and it doesn't look unbalanced. I also decided to use some of it to kind of break up that wall of black at the top. And you'll watch me fuss with this for a while. I like bringing it down there at the bottom. And I like that you see how the teal at the very top and the teal at the very bottom are kind of at an angle. They're not directly above one another. And they kind of bring your eye through that main photo that I wanted to draw your attention to. Now, I fuss and fuss and fuss with this teal piece. I'm not quite sure where I want to put it. Spoiler alert. Surprise, surprise. It ends up basically exactly where I wanted it in the first place. Now, I do realize eventually that that is upside down. It takes me a second, but once I, stick adhesive on it, then I realize, whoops, see, there I went. I realized it, and now I'm playing with this one instead. It's time for me to glue the photos down first before I try and put that last. I do end up adding that last little bit of teal just to bring some more of it in there. But this is, my process is to get the big main bits down, then the photos down, and then the title next. I tend to work from what my brain thinks of as quote unquote big to small, which is like the little details, like the ephemera and the embellishing and the journaling and the date and yada yada yada, which goes last. So here I am. I knew what I wanted my title to be. Like I told you, I had this layout planned from the title and the photos before I did anything else. And here I am throwing some letter stickers from my stash in there. I knew, again, I was going to have a long title, and I wanted to use that word pumpkin. And it's scripty and it's orange. And so when I do a long title, while I'm messing with this, let's talk about long titles and how I think about them. So I know I have a scripty font. I know it's orange. I could stay within the orange family. I don't have a lot of orange letters though, so that wasn't a possibility. But I know that I want something that's going to go with it, but like not be too similar that it clashes in its similarity, if that makes sense. It's very much like if you're pattern mixing in an outfit. If you have a floral, you don't want to mix another floral unless it's very different in like scale or something, or you want to mix it with something that's more linear, and that's kind of what I do here. So I paired that scripty font with a much more linear sans serif black and white font, and they play against each other really nicely. And I also, you can see, try and repeat words like that font again, and it brings things together. And then I often will bring in a third little tile letter because they go with just about everything, and they are great for those less important words in a long title. So that's how I plan this one. I love that the background of those tile thickers brings in that off-white of the paper that's behind them. Here I am messing with it. I wasn't sure I loved the way it like fell through the layout, but I do end up going back to what I had originally. I don't know when I will learn to just, trust my gut and go with my original idea. Maybe one of these days, right? So here I am going to go ahead and stick some things down. My goal with this one was just to have a quick layout. I didn't want to fuss over it, and so I hope that comes through in this. I know I sped it up a lot and I did cut out some, but I believe that I had this layout done in less than an hour, which was really fast for me. In fact, I'm curious, how long does it take you to make a 12 by 12 layout when you do it? Because I tend to spend between 1 and 2 hours. That's about my average. I can crank out a faster one that's like 45 minutes or so, and I can definitely spend longer, but I'm curious how long it takes other people. So if you want, share with me down below. I'd love to hear. So now here I am embellishing. I don't know if you noticed, there's a rip in the top left corner of that Happy Halloween piece, so I'm going to have to hide it, and that's what I'm trying to do, find a place where I can hide it. And I wanted to tuck it in there. Now, coming up here, you're going to see some random jumps. My camera phone, for some reason, I apologize, really, it kept disconnecting and then reconnecting and then disconnecting and then reconnecting, but it kept recording and it was very strange. So I apologize for all the jump cuts. You don't really miss anything big, but my hands might like jump from over here to over there. So I promise it's not a scary Halloween tactic. It's just my camera being a little weird today. I'm going to have to get my in-house IT on that. You see me fussing with the placement of this. In case you wonder why I fuss so much with like the very I don't know if delicate's the word, like, why does it matter if that piece was like a centimeter up or half a centimeter down? When I'm doing that, if you look closely, very often I'm messing with spaces. Like where I wanted that orange spider piece that's next to the top part of the title, I had originally put it up and then it was like making this weird line with the white border around the photo. And then when I brought it down too far, then it interfered with the photo too much. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm trying to make sure that there's no weird gaps, there's no weird lines that are made whenever you see me fussing like that. So here I am bringing in some more stickers, another weird jump, apologies. I love that kitty cat pumpkin sticker up there, especially for a layout for my son because he adores cats and he's doing pumpkins, so it was just perfect. I don't know when else would be the best, this is the time I had to use it. And here we are, the last little bits and bobs. I'd like to have my little sprinkly bits, whether they're hearts or stars or dots or something all the way around. I feel like they just kind of bring a layout together. I was trying to decide which ones I wanted to bring in because some of them are patterned. I don't know how well it's coming across. Some have polka dots and stripes and stuff. Now I'm looking for a label so I can put a little bit of journaling on here. I just wanted to journal about how the title here, This Kid Loves Pumpkin Guts, it really leads into it because none of the rest of the family likes messing in pumpkins. I hate touching the insides of pumpkins, but he loves it. And so I wanted to kind of commemorate that for him. So I found this perfect orange label that I stuck in there. I had to get my Zig photo pen so that I could write on it because it was a little bit slick. And you'll see at the end here, I didn't have enough space left to write the date, so I end up writing it on that star of the year. But we're at the end of this, and I will show you the close-ups here in a minute so that you can see it. I really like how this turned out. I love a faux mixed media background. I believe this one's from 49 and Market. They do them so well, and it just adds so much texture and character without a lot of work. So that's the layout. I hope you guys have had a wonderful Halloween or have one, and I will see you soon. Bye!